And we're coming to you live for the Built Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti, it's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And wherever you are in the free Odyssey app. Good Tuesday morning. And if you watch these two Monday night games, and you are either a Jet or a Giant fan, and you saw these two quarterbacks on the winning teams last night play, you probably said to yourself, uh-oh, for a couple of reasons. One, Josh Allen, through these first three games, could be playing his best football of his career, and that is saying something. And the Jets obviously want to go as far as possible, and having a team like the Buffalo Bills in their division is not ideal, especially with Josh Allen playing this way. And if you're the New York Giants and you watch Hard Knocks and you saw Brian Daboll drooling over Jayden Daniels and then not making the attempt to go up there, and who knows if the Commanders would have accepted any sort of trade offer, and then you see the Commanders take Jayden Daniels, and then you watch him beat your team, and then you watch last night, which was truly an epic rookie performance on Monday Night Football, you're thinking they've found their quarterback of the future, and we still don't have ours. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. The one thing I think last time proves that Brian Daboll knows what he's talking about. That's for sure. That kid was unbelievable. He was on fire, and nothing better than that last touchdown pass. And if you didn't see it, you got to go back on your NFL Plus app and watch it. Or
I saw that live because of fantasy football, and which is detrimental to my health. And I'm back in, and I stayed up and watched that entire game. You want to know why? Because I had Terry McLaurin and Jayden Daniels,
so you won.
I needed that, and I stayed up, and I paid off.
Right.
That was amazing.
But watching that last touchdown pass where he stands in the face of a blitz coming off the corner, he knew it was coming. He knew exactly where he was going, and he stood in there, and he took a shot right to the chest as he was throwing the ball, and that my friends, takes stones. And that's really what it's all about, playing quarterback in the NFL, is when you can make a play when the game is on the line and you have this blitz coming to at you unblocked, and you see it coming and you know it's coming, and you still are able to throw the ball accurately right on the money to Terry McLaurin. So his game last night was one for the ages. It's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, single rookie quarterback game of all time, given that he was 21 of 23. And by the way, Joe Burrow wasn't bad either. Neither one of these defenses are very good. Neither one of these defenses could stop the opposing team's run or wide receivers. So the Bengals are in a whole heap of trouble, as are the Jaguars. They're both 0-3, and Buffalo is rolling. And you're right, Josh Allen is playing great. He's not doing right now at this moment in the season.
Turning the ball over?
He's not turning it over. He's not forcing the issue. He's just making plays. He's comfortable. He's seeing the field. I mean, like, the Jaguars just got steamrolled last night. I didn't really watch much of the second half of that game because I was locked in on the Bengal game. But all I can tell you is you're right. I think if you are a Jet fan and a Giant fan and you see these two quarterbacks play, and especially Jayden Daniels, because you're going to see him for another 10 years.
Yeah, and I've watched basically every snap of Jayden Daniels this year because I took a risk on him and drafting him in a fantasy league, and I wanted to see how he was doing. So first week I came in here, I said it was a weird debut. I wasn't sure what to make of it. You could see the athleticism. He seemed very calm, but just out of control. And then he got a little bit better, obviously, in the win against the Giants, but they didn't score any touchdowns, so it was still not quite there. And he wasn't getting the ball to Terry McLaurin, and that was a big talking point going into the game last night. And you heard the guys say it on the broadcast many times, and Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn, Terry McLaurin, and he's not bitching and moaning because he's not a prima donna. And then, bang, it was that first pass, 55 yards right down to the goal line where he hit Terry McLaurin. And that, I felt like, opened up everything for Jayden Daniels, because that was the one thing he hadn't done yet, was get the ball down the field to his number one wide receiver. And then you saw it later in the game with that touchdown pass to him in the corner of the end zone. And his arm and the velocity on these throws, and now he's getting a little bit more accurate and getting comfortable in the pocket and not getting scared and running every time. I mean, it's a dangerous combination, man.
He got hit a lot last night, too, by the way. It wasn't like he didn't get hit. He got hit a lot. And the pass to me that really solidified, because you sit there and you wait, it's a rookie, and you're like, okay, is he going to is he going to make a mistake here? It was the 4th and 4 where he hit Zach Ertz over the middle. And they had a lead. They didn't have to do that. They could have attempted a field goal probably outside of the range of Seibert, as Troy and Joe were talking about, or they could have punted and played defense. And I think that's the last thing that Dan Quinn wanted to do was play defense in a situation where the game was on the line, because I think he probably felt that Joe Burrow would have brought his team down and scored the game-winning touchdown themselves. So what does he do? He says, okay, we're going for it. And there was no hesitation. Now, they ended up calling timeout because they had a mess at the end of the – they didn't know who was going to be on the field, and it seemed like there was all sorts of miscommunication on the sideline. But when they came back on the field, and he had Zach Ertz over the middle, and I mean, he hit him right in the chest, and Ertz was supposed to be doubled, and Von Bell didn't get there. He got there late, and the pass was perfect. I mean, it was perfect. And you can't – you hope and you predict. I mean, that's what Caleb Williams is supposed to be looking like.
Yeah.
And Caleb Williams doesn't look anything like that yet. But Jayden Daniels has taken a major step forward. Each week he's gotten a little bit better. And now he got his team in the end zone. And I'll tell you, that's about as impressive as a rookie performance. And I know C.J. Stroud did it through the entire year last year. So I'd like to see that from Jayden. But that game last night was standalone, maybe the greatest single rookie game I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly up there statistically, too, is with the completion percentage. He broke a record for a rookie last night.
91% completion percentage.
21 out of 23.
It's
and
almost like Phil Simms'
Super Bowl, yeah. I thought the same thing. And he's gotten consistently better every single week, and then that's the thing you want to see. And I also, I was a little worried about him because I didn't like the coaching staff for him coming in. I don't love Dan Quinn as a head coach, and Cliff Kingsbury to me is a dangerous type of offensive coordinator that could ruin a young guy, but he has definitely succeeded, so I'll give those guys a little bit more credit than I thought I'd be giving them. But yeah, that was very, very impressive. And now that's a team that, I mean, you hate to just project forward for a decade, but God, if he could stay healthy and he keeps getting better and he's doing everything the way he did on the road against a desperate Bengals team, I mean, that's another thing you got to factor in here. I mean, I don't think the Bengals are that bad. I mean, the Bengals should have beaten the Chiefs the previous week, and Jayden Daniels went in there in a must-win game for the Bengals and just beat the brakes off them.
We talk about quarterbacks and who they're playing and everything else. So they lost to Jacoby Brissett and they lost to Jayden Daniels, a rookie and an afterthought, a retread, whatever, however, journeyman, whatever you want to call him. And we saw that New England offense up close and personal, and it's bad. It is bad. There are no threats anywhere on the field, and they don't even attempt to throw the ball down the field. And the Bengals lost to that team. They lost a game, Kansas City, where they had the lead if it weren't for a pass interference late in the game. And then last night they get tore up again on defense. So they have major issues. Them and the Jaguars, where I think many people thought were going to be playoff teams, and now they still may be playoff teams. We're not even a quarter of the way through the season yet. But boy, I'll tell you, their defense is a sieve right now. And I know they have some injuries, but my God, you had a rookie quarterback come into your building and basically slice and dice you.
Yeah, it was really, really disconcerting. The two performances last night of the Jaguars and the Bengals for different reasons, and both teams were desperate. Both teams coming in 0-2 and needing to play well. And obviously the Bengals a little more concerning because it's at home, and the expectations were higher for them. But for a Super Bowl winning head coach in Doug Peterson to have his team go up to Buffalo in a game where they had to play well at 0-2 to try to save their season and get completely blasted was embarrassing. I mean, Josh Allen was out in the third quarter of that game. They had him out with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. I mean, the Jaguars pulled their starters too. I mean, it was, Mac Jones is in there, and Mac Jones gets a sack fumble on his first series. I mean, that's how bad that game got. I was shocked. Not that I thought that the Bills were going to lose to the Jaguars, but for the Jaguars to come in that desperate mode and just they got steamrolled. That is as bad of a performance as the league has seen this year.
Doug Peterson better do something. He better shake it up down there because that Shad Khan spent a lot of money in the offseason.
Oh, there was a quote that he had, too. I'll find it.
He spent a lot of money. Shad Khan's the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to say they spent either the most amount of money in free agency in the offseason or the second most amount. I mean, it was over $250 million, I believe, was committed to players. And to have that happen on national television. Whew.
Yeah, so to that point, last month, Jags owner Shad Khan, this is a quote that Pro Football Talk put out last night. Winning now is the expectation. Make no mistake, this is the best team assembled by the Jacksonville Jaguars ever. Best players, best coaches. But most importantly, let's prove it by winning now.
Yeah.
That's from the owner.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how ugly it's got to feel in that building right now.
Yeah, and it is. It's that team has gotten worse each week.
Yeah. Yep.
And at least I can say the Bengals have an offense that they could put up points, and they can play with anybody. And you could see Washington was having problems in the secondary, and that's again. So the defensive head coach and Dan Quinn played offense in the fourth quarter and didn't want to give the ball back to the Bengals without scoring on that last series. And they went for it on 4th and 4. And, you're a genius when it works. If that doesn't work, there's a very good chance Washington's going to lose that game. But the rookie quarterback stood in there with great poise, knew exactly where he was going, and he had Zach Ertz right between the numbers for a first down.
Yeah, he's so calm. He feels like, and they made the point on the broadcast, too, that he's made 55 starts in college. You don't normally see that, and obviously played at a very high level with LSU, and they talked about him replacing Joe Burrow and the pressure that was on him. So he went through a lot in college, and that stuff matters when you're starting in your first year and you're on the road against Cincinnati and that 4th and 4. He's been in situations like that. And even his first game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he just seemed calm out there, even though things weren't going particularly well. He seemed calm and in control, and he was supposed to be out on the field as opposed to some of these other rookie quarterbacks that we see that are like, what the hell is going on? There's 55 defenders out there, and I don't know what to do. Jayden Daniels is the opposite of that. Just really impressive stuff. He's just one of those guys, too, that you're just excited to see what he can do. They got the Arizona Cardinals coming up next. It should be another game that he should thrive in. It's indoors on the road. I mean, he's just going to be one of those guys that hey, what Jayden Daniels do today? One of those things.
He is must-see TV right now.
Yeah, I mean, after last night, he certainly is.
I feel like, it's because it's Washington and because they have been so bad for so long. And they haven't gotten their act together, and the last quarterback that they had was probably RG3 for that rookie year. They had Kirk Cousins for a while, but they haven't had really anybody this exciting. I mean, this is why Brian Daboll was talking about him the way he was back in Hard Knocks off season.
Yeah, I mean, the RG3 thing was real there for a minute. I mean, it was that they were very, very excited about him. It just that it was just so quick with the injuries. But I mean, it felt similar to this, I think. But I mean, and that's why probably Commanders fans I'm sure they're excited, but also trepidatious because they went through something similar a few years back with RG3.
Yeah, but if this kid, I mean, he's taller, he's bigger, he throws the ball better. I mean, man, if he continues to go on, he's going to have another 21 for 23. I don't know. But if this performance is indicative of a long-term, consistent performance from their quarterback, I mean, it's going to be a long, long time before the Giants are beating them.
Yeah, I mean, he's still exposing himself a little bit too much when he's running the football. He did slide at one point in the third or fourth quarter. It was definitely the second half, and they showed Dan Quinn on the sidelines basically throwing a party because he slid. So, I mean, that's going to be something that you worry about with him is staying healthy. And you said when he had won the Heisman and he showed up at the NFL Today how thin you thought he was, and how he had to put on some weight to be able to take these NFL hits.
Last night he still looks thin to me. But,
yeah, didn't matter.
The one thing he's got a howitzer for an arm. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, it's just getting the ball down the field, and he did it twice in critical situations to his best wide receiver, who he wasn't getting the ball to in McLaurin. So, I mean, it's like endless possibilities now.
By the way,
for that offense.
Another running back goes down. Austin Eckler goes down last night.
Concussion, yeah.
Joe Mixon goes down. Austin Eckler goes down. I mean, like these guys, It's very rare that they're going to ever make it through the season. So,
Well, especially and those guys are on the older side for
Christian
running backs.
McCaffrey's already down. Didn't even start the season. He was hurt.
Right.
I mean, there's a number of running backs that this is why they don't get paid.
Yep, that's right. All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. A couple of exciting things coming up today. We've got Keith Hernandez joining us. Is that going to be right at the top of the 8 a.m. hour, right? Is that, or are you just saying
sure?
you don't
we
know?
We know
That's
what's
what I
going
had
on.
scheduled for 8 a.m.
He gets up that early?
As he claims he'll be up and ready to go
Sure,
8 a.m.
ready to go. Okay.
I gave him all options.
And he said
I
8.
gave him a 7, 8, 9.
And he wanted 8.
They want 8, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Keith Hernandez scheduled to appear. I'll put the scheduled to appear thing on Keith Hernandez at 8 a.m. And also coming up in the 8 a.m. hour, a big show announcement. Something we're very excited about. So stay tuned for that. It's all coming up on this Tuesday morning.